Our next guest is today's keynote speaker. You all know him. He was named the #1 Bitcoin influencer on YouTube. BitBoy, aka Ben. Oh, actually, no, Ben Armstrong, aka BitBoy. Your legal name is not BitBoy. Last I checked.
You can get it changed. You can get legally changed, Ben.
No, not yet. Unfortunately, we still go by Ben. Even though it's a little awkward to be known as BitBoy as a 38-year-old man, but you know what? I'll take it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could just go with Bitman sounds weird though, so you don't want to. Yeah, it sounds weirder than BitBoy probably.
The pronunciation would be weird. You have to pronounce it like Bitman.
It sounds like a comic book. We can make an NFT out of that. We could do The Adventures of
Bitman. Anyway, okay.
I don't know if I'm feeling it, guys. I got to be honest.
I don't know. Ben, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, well, I was listening to what you guys were talking about how, yesterday was kind of high level view of the economics of crypto, tokenomics, looking at high level projects. And today you were going to talk about the theme kind of is like practical information on how people get into crypto. I'm going to tell people a little bit about my crypto journey, how I got here. I wasn't always the #1 YouTuber. In fact, at one point I had made big mistakes in crypto and lost a lot of money. And so thought I'd share some advice with people on that front. And, everybody who's new to crypto can relate on that level. You're new to crypto and you're wondering how to get in. So we would go down that road today.
That's great. Awesome. Well, we really look forward to it. And thank you for joining us today, Ben. We very much look forward to the presentation. Guys,
smash the like button for Ben. Let's get to it. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, so I thought I would talk about, like I mentioned, to everybody that's new in crypto. I want to give you guys my experience getting in because I've been on a long road with crypto. The first Bitcoin I bought was back in 2012. And so people hear that and they say, man, you must be like really rich. You got all the Bitcoin. You got so much money. You're so lucky. And no, I did end up there, but that's not exactly, it wasn't a straight line. So a lot of people know my channel. We obviously have the most viewed channel in all of YouTube in terms of crypto, the #1 crypto community, the Bit Squad. We've got today or tomorrow, we're actually hitting 5 million total followers across social media. So a giant milestone that nobody's been able to, even come close to. But it wasn't always like this, and YouTube wasn't always easy for me. So I'll go back to I was getting my beginnings in entrepreneurship. So back in 2011, I worked at a car wash. That's what I did. I was making $25,000 a year as an assistant manager. And, I was newly married and I felt like my life was going okay, but we were struggling financially. And I just figured, you know what, I got to do something different. I got to start a business. So I decided to start a ticket business where I sold concert and sports tickets. That was in January of 2011. And that was going so well. So first year I made 6 figures. The second year I was absolutely crushing it. But something happened near the end of near the end of the second year in 2012. Basically, I was using a software to post ads onto Craigslist to sell my tickets. But what happened is Craigslist didn't like that service. And so they shut the guy's website down and his payment processors. Visa wouldn't work with him. And so, he didn't know what to do. He shut down his payments for about 3 or 4 months. And he came back and said, hey guys, I found a way to keep the business going. Is this thing called Bitcoin? And I was like, what is this? I had done like some online gambling before. It sounded like some kind of cheesy currency they would use on like an online casino or something like that. So I was like, Bitcoin, all right, sure. I'll check this out, see what happens. So complicated. It was so hard to use. We had to use a site called Mt. Gox, which later on would be the biggest hack in crypto history. And then we also use something called BitInstant. If you've watched Banking on Bitcoin, you might know about that. Charlie Shrem, one of the, kind of founding members in crypto, I guess you could say. He had this thing called BitInstant. You would work with BitInstant to
Looks like we may have lost Ben there for a second.
We're having a little bit of a storm with some possible flooding here in the Northeast. I wonder if maybe he's having connectivity issues.
I think BitInstant did not like where he was going with that. I think that I think that's what happened here.
This is why we need decentralization, because they can control our access to Ben from BitBoy.
We are working on getting Ben back. As soon as I see him back, we'll just bring him right on. I think in the meantime, this is an appropriate time to do our very first crypto update of the day, brought to you by Voyager. Let's get that going, shall we? As I said at the top, it was a great end of the month, especially for Ethereum. Bitcoin starting of the day in the red, kind of the same story as yesterday. Ethereum continuing the theme. Hey, no sooner do I get going, does Ben come back? Screw the. We'll get to the Bitcoin update later. Let's get Ben back. There we go. Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. Had a little Wi-Fi issue. We think I switched over to my phone. So
all right, we're back. So
running an internet business is difficult when the Wi-Fi goes down.
We were talking about BitInstant is where we left off.
Yeah. Right. So I was using Mt. Gox. I was using BitInstant, and there were no websites really telling you how to do it. You had to figure it all out, and it was very slow and it was very clunky. But I was able to get the Bitcoin over to the guy. The name of the website was Clad Genius. That was the name of the software, and it worked pretty well. And so over the next year, I would use Bitcoin. I would over about $10,000 worth of Bitcoin transactions using Bitcoin as it was originally meant for, which was as a currency. Now we know that Bitcoin has really shifted towards digital gold. And the reason why it shifted to get digital gold is because of stories like mine. $10,000 worth of Bitcoin bought between about $12 and $50, somewhere in that range, mostly between about $12 and $25, used as a currency instead of used to appreciate in value. Now, if I would have taken that same $10,000 and not paid for the service, well, in the short term, it would have been bad. I wouldn't have had the software. Over the long term, that would have been worth, well above seven figures. And I just kind of threw all that away. And here's the key point. The reason why I should have had so much money in the beginning, but I didn't, was because I didn't understand Bitcoin. I didn't understand crypto. We did not have the education resources around in order to educate ourselves on truly what this new technology was. And so what happened is about a year later in November of 2013, that was really when the 2013 bull run was, heading towards its peak. Bitcoin went up very considerably. I think it was around $200, somewhere around there. I had some money left in my account, and that money turned into thousands of dollars. And it was just money I had sitting there, to make payments with. And so I was like, man, what an exciting thing. So I used a website called localbitcoins.com, and I met a guy at McDonald's, and over the Wi-Fi, I transferred my Bitcoin over to him, and he transferred money over to me. And it was about $2,000 to $3,000. I paid some bills. I took my family on vacation. I think we went to the beach, and it was really fun. Now, fast forward to 2017, when I'm watching the price of Bitcoin go up $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000. I'm sitting there doing the math on how much money I should have, but I didn't have. In between 2000 and the end of 2013, really 2014, in February 2014, that was when Mt. Gox crashed. And I thought at that time that was pretty much the end of Bitcoin, because that was all anybody was using at that point, really. I didn't even know what self-custody was. And so when Mt. Gox got hacked and crashed, I kind of thought Bitcoin was over. I bought and sold it a little bit over the next couple of years, but it wasn't something I paid a lot of attention to, other than just checking the price every couple months to just see where it was. Now in 2017, I'm watching the price go up and up and up, and I'm thinking, man, I really missed out. I missed out on this opportunity. And as I'm thinking about the millions of dollars I shouldn't have, while I'm struggling to buy Christmas presents for my kids because my business had already folded by that point that I was originally running, I was just kicking myself on how stupid I was for not getting the education, for not learning about what this was. And I said, you know what? Even though it's 2017 and I feel like I missed it, I feel like I'm late, I feel like I had the best opportunity, I threw it away. I'm going to go all in on crypto. I'm going to go full-fledged to the hilt. I'm going to take all my time, energy, and resources, and I'm going to put it into learning about crypto and becoming an expert. And, a lot of people, they see the money that YouTubers make in crypto because it is a considerable amount. And they're just like, man, these guys, all they do is they get on here and they talk about crypto and they do this, and all these projects come to them. And, the money seems so easy. I'll tell you, for many, many years, it was not easy at all getting that YouTube channel. I started in January 2018. The worst possible time you could start a YouTube channel, because that was the peak of the market. I didn't start making regular videos until deep in the bear market, about March or April of 2018. But here's what I tell people. People judge people that get into crypto and make all kinds of money, whether it's a founder of a project or whether it's someone that runs a community or a paid service or a YouTube channel. The smartest thing to do in any business, in any industry, is to get involved in that industry. So when it comes to people getting new to crypto and wanting to jump in, my number one piece of advice to you is don't just figure out how to learn about crypto, because that's definitely a key component, but figure out how you can get involved. One of the highest guys over at Tokenmetrics, a company we work with, one of their executives, he started out as an admin, a moderator in their Telegram group. So you don't have to necessarily go get a blockchain degree in order to jump into crypto and get a career, but you got to do something. Just start somewhere, start doing, a little thing here, reach out to somebody, say, hey, do you need any help? Whatever it is, because getting involved in crypto is the most lucrative thing that you can do. If you just as an investor, you're going to make money, but the more that you get involved, if you create content or you get involved with companies or you start working with tokens, those are great ways to really make a lot of money in crypto, and you're doing positive stuff and you're playing a role in the ecosystem. And I think all of that is extremely important. So a lot of people know this story. It's kind of a meme at this point, but Wells Fargo, a lot of people know Wells Fargo. They're a bank. They're our enemy. I hate banks. If you guys, haven't watched my channel before, I cannot stand banks. It's a long, complicated history with them, but I really do genuinely hate banks. And so you look at Wells Fargo, it's somebody we hate, right? It's like they're a centralized bank. They're a terrible player in crypto, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is true. But you go back to the gold rush in the 1800s in America. A lot of people don't know this. The people that went out west, 90% of those people did not find gold. Less than 10% actually came back with something decent to considerable. Okay. Wells Fargo. I think the guy's name was actually Henry Wells. You guys can fact check that. But Henry Wells was the guy that started that company. And what he did is he said, okay, everybody's coming out here to make this money to get this gold. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to provide them with the resources to get that gold. So he sold the shovels. He sold the flashlights. He sold the pickaxes. He sold the helmets. He sold the mining carts. He sold the pans. He sold everything that people needed to use to find the gold. And through selling those things, over time, he actually developed a company that made more money than anyone who ever went out there to find the gold. And so that's the way that I look at the education and the resources in crypto here, is I'm enabling people and I'm helping people to find financial freedom through crypto assets. I'm giving them the resources they need to be able to carve out a niche for themselves, whether it's in the industry or whether it's just, through investing. So I think that those are the key things that we do here at BitBoy Crypto. I mean, our mission statement here is empowering people to find financial freedom through crypto assets. And that's what we do. But you got to find a starting point. You have to find somewhere to dig in. As I mentioned, as I was meeting with that guy at McDonald's to sell him that Bitcoin over the McDonald's Wi-Fi, and I think about how rich that guy's got to be now. He's got to be, a gazillionaire, I guess. But as I was waiting on him, he actually went to the wrong McDonald's. And so I remember I was there an extra 30 minutes waiting on him to arrive. And during that time, I just remember doing research, like, you know what? Maybe before I give all this away, maybe I should know what this is. Maybe I should know a little bit more about Bitcoin, a little more about blockchain. And as I was going through these websites, they look like 1995 GeoCity sites. That's what they look like. They didn't even look like nothing like what we have today. And this was back in 2013. There just weren't the resources out there. There were not YouTube channels. I think Bitcoin Uncensored, the Krista Rose podcast, was maybe the only channel out there on Bitcoin in 2013. And I'm not, I like to say I'm not a nerd. Like, I wasn't on Bitcoin Talk Forum. Like, I don't do mining. I don't do developing. I don't do gaming. I don't do a lot of the normal things, the typical things you see people do. I'm just a normal guy. I like football. I coach my kids' baseball teams. We go do stuff as a family. We go to the park. We go on hikes. We go on walks at the park. We don't go on hikes. That was a lie. I don't know why people like to hike. I don't get it. It's hard walking. Anyways, I digress. But I'm just a normal guy. And so for me to be able to get into crypto, like, I really needed stuff laid out to get me there. And those channels were not there at that time. So now anyone who wants to get in crypto, you have all of the resources available, whether it's my channel or any of the other great crypto channels that are out there, whether it's, Cryptos R Us, or whether it's Crypto Zombie, or, or Lark Davis. Any of these guys are great YouTubers. Crypto Jeb. These guys are great YouTubers that can provide you with the resources. We have all of the crypto media out there. CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, or as I like to call them, not so affectionately, Cointellii. The thing about all these crypto news sites I would warn you guys about is some of them are very narrative driven, and a lot of times they're involved in price manipulation when you look at Cointelegraph and CoinDesk specifically. So be a little careful with that. But the fact is, all of the news that you would possibly want is out there. It's on a smorgasbord for you to go and pick through and figure out, whatever is related to what you want to learn about. We've got so many great projects out there now. We have not only Bitcoin and Ethereum that everybody knows about at this point. XRP also been around for a long time, but we've got projects like Uniswap, or like Cardano, or VeChain, or Polygon. These are great projects, not only to invest in, but to learn about. My number one takeaway for you guys is this. I told you my story. I told you how I should have had so much money. Eventually, I got involved in the industry and was able to take some of that back. But the number one thing is, I did not understand what I was investing in. The key takeaway for you guys is, if you're going to invest in crypto, you need to, on some level, understand what you're investing in. You're not investing into 3 or 4 letter ticker symbols. You're investing basically into crypto venture capital projects, as Michael Saylor said when he was on my channel. That's what all these other altcoins are. They have certain purposes. You need to understand the purpose and the use case of where you're putting your money in. The people who believe in what they're investing in my opinion, will always do better than those who, don't really have a clue where they're putting their money. You're always better off as an educated investor. So that's my takeaway for you guys. I think that's my time. So I certainly appreciate you having me on, and good luck to everybody in their crypto journey.